This video is intended to be an informational video on blended learning, and for both students and for parents, an opportunity to be educated on what blended learning is and if this is the right type of coursework for you as a student. So when we think about blended learning, we kind of use that term loosely when we say blended learning. And what blended means is a mixture of different things put together. So that's what blended learning is. It's a mixture of different styles of education. So when we think of our traditional classroom, we're used to the teacher up in front of the class with our rows of students, and we're inside our four walls of the class, and we have our usual format, whether it's lecture or discussions, activities, assessments, lots of different things going on in the class to help our students conceptualize some of the topics that we're covering in class. But blended learning, because of technology, because of the learning management system Canvas that we use here in District 301, offers the opportunity for students to not have to be confined to those four walls of the class, that a teacher can still facilitate, put their lessons out there, and their students have the opportunity to educate themselves on these lessons at different times. They don't necessarily have to be within the confines of the actual class itself. So students have the opportunity for some flexibility in the learning environment, but they also have some flexibility on pacing, which is something that the traditional classroom is very difficult to achieve, and blended learning offers that opportunity for students. From the student side, as we just really kind of mentioned a few seconds ago, it offers flexible learning opportunities. Although we think about blended learning, and a big question that comes up is, is the class actually different? I mean, are there different tests, or do they cover different topics? Really, the only real difference with blended learning versus a traditional class is where the student is going to do some of their instruction. Otherwise, everything else is going to be the same. The class curriculum is the same, the assessments, the standards are the same, the expectations of the teachers will be the same, that the student will complete their work with those high expectations for our students. All of those things are the same with a traditional class and also blended learning class. But again, the real big difference between the two is the fact that students have the opportunities to be in a different environment when that instruction is delivered. They don't necessarily have to be in the confines of the classroom, the four-walled classroom. So we think about what an average day looks like for a blended student. Really, that can be broken down by two key terms, one being seat time and the other one being online time. Seat time is something that we have seen from the very beginning of our educational experience, where the teacher is up in front of the class leading whole group discussions or labs or presentations or debates. But now, with the involvement of technology and with learning management systems like Canvas, is what we have here in District 301, the delivery of instruction doesn't necessarily have to take place in the confines of the classroom. That delivery can also take place online at any time during the day or night. Teachers are able to facilitate activities and assessments, put lectures or different assignments out there for your students online inside of Canvas, and the students get a chance to engage in those activities and those assessments really kind of at their own pace and on their own time. So it doesn't necessarily have to take place inside the classroom. But of course, the classroom inside of the class is very, very important to blended learning. But the online experience is also very important as well. And that's why, of course, the name blended, as opposed to like the traditional class that we know, we use the term blended to mix those two different types of styles together, the seat time and the online time. So when we think about blended learning and is it right for me from a student perspective, we really have to break down some of these key questions. And this is more of an internal question for the student. One is, are you self-motivated? Are you somebody who, when you see an assignment that's due coming up, whether it's for tomorrow or whether it's 2 weeks, ahead of time, are you somebody who will be motivated enough to do that and make sure that you complete that on time? Do you have good time management skills? There's lots of things that students have to deal with. We have family, we have sports, we have activities, we have lots of different things in our lives. Can we juggle all of those things together, and make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable to complete all the activities that we need to do? How do you deal with challenge? Do you have access to the internet? Are you a good communicator? Will you be able to work in groups, or will you be able to communicate when you're having a problem? Can you sit down and have quality discussions, whether that's online discussions or face-to-face type discussions? Are you a good teammate? Because there's many times in a blended environment where you're going to have to rely on others in order to complete a task. So, are you able to delegate some of those things, or or again, are you able to work with others effectively? And then, do you regularly check your email and your Canvas account? Because that's a very important piece to blended learning. There may be activities that are posted online, and if we're not involved with that, whether that's through our Chromebook or whether it's with our mobile device, that's something that you're going to have to think about if you decide if this type of uh, learning environment is right for you. So again, hopefully this video gives you an idea about what blended learning is and some thoughts about, is this actually right for me? As we think about it from the student perspective, is this right for every single student? No, that's not true at all. There isn't one type of learning experience that is correct for every single person. Every student is different. We all learn at different paces. We all learn at different levels. So what we want to think about or take from this is this type of environment going to be beneficial for you from the student side? If it is, then maybe this is right for you. And if it's not, then the traditional class is probably the right way to go for you.